The next question comes from Evelyn.eth, and she asked, her and Brother Pig both asked, any updates on the Android users? How about Android?
So to answer the question, it's going to be a few months, at least. It's very early in development still, like relatively speaking. And we're still trying to figure out what we're building and exactly how we're going to build it, right? Another challenge there is like we're a distributed company. We're all over the world, right? To build on, all of our developers have iPhones because they need to develop on iPhones. This is like a purely one challenge, just a logistical challenge. There are so many more Android devices than iPhone devices by two orders of magnitude, probably, right? So putting something out on Android means that we need our developers need a wide range of devices to test on. That alone is a major logistical challenge, right? How are you going to get all this? What are the devices we need? So even that is something we need to figure out before we even really start building it, right? There's Android tablets, there's Samsung, LG, OnePlus. You know, what are we supporting? What are we not? What are the specs? So that's one part of it. Another part of it is that's probably one of the biggest hurdles to deal with. It's just like there's a lot of logistical headaches. It's probably going to take a few months from the point where we start, and the point where we start is probably around a month away.
All right, so that's a very diplomatic answer you gave.
I mean, I think it's pretty realistic, right? Like,
yeah.
You know.
It is. We understand that we have a lot of potential Android users that would love to use the Matterless app and all Matterless apps, but it's just that currently we don't have the manpower also to really develop for such a wide range of devices, because unlike iOS, which is very standardized and secure and safe, and it's very easy to log in, like for Android, it's a bit, it's chaos. So like we definitely want to do it, but we just currently can't afford to do it. Like our build order is stacked already to do something else instead. One of the other things that I just wanted to mention is about what our patrons get. Well, our patrons get this, right? So they get events like these where they can ask a bunch of questions, which is only it's exclusive to you guys. And this is your opportunity. So I see a couple of faces here, people that I talked to before who haven't asked a question. So like if you do have questions, this is your opportunity to ask. You can just leave them in the VIP chat. Let's move on to the next question. Is there any tokens being launched in the future? Avalon.eth is asking. The current timeline for that is anytime between 6 and 18 months from now. We are not in a particular hurry, as we don't need to use tokens to fundraise at this point. And we are literally rethinking the entire tokenomics standard and principles that are currently present in the crypto industry. All of us are very crypto skeptical. Some of us, like I have been owning crypto since 2016. I am a believer in some parts of using crypto for a whole host of services and the blockchain as a technology. But also, there are so many games right now, there are so many use cases right now, which are clearly Ponzi schemes. They are simply ways for people to extract money. And it's kind of like the greater fool theory, which means that the only reason that you're buying a token is so that somebody else can buy it from you later for a higher price. So the greater fool is the one who pays the ultimate price. And seeing what bloodshed happened in the market in the last couple of weeks, which we are really, really sorry about. And if any of you guys currently are down on your portfolios, definitely we feel you. We also had a moment where some of our funds, which are in crypto, like we executed on making sure that those funds are secure, that they don't lose value, and it was a scramble. So this is specifically the reason why we're very, very careful about creating a token. What we want to do is we want to make a token which is useful, which has real utility, which people will want to use, which is easy to use. so that also the mainstream users of our suite of apps in the future will be able to use them seamlessly. A lot of people who are not in crypto, and for all of the people who are in crypto already, for you guys, it's probably very easy to use MetaMask, to use a whole host of wallets, hot wallets, cold wallets. Basically, you guys are using tokens all the time. However, most people feel very, very uncomfortable about this. And maybe for some older people here in the audience, this is very similar to the fear of using your credit card on the internet 20 years ago, when people were thinking, oh, like, will my card get stolen? Will all my information be exposed? And yeah, it happened a lot. So these are some of the reasons why we're currently really rethinking how we can best use the token, but be sure that the token will be useful and easy to use as well. So it's going to have utility, and it's also going to be easy to use. And this is why we're really, really sitting down, thinking. We have a person with a PhD in math who's helping us understand and rethink the idea of what tokenomics should be. Okay, Jason, do you want to add something, or shall we move on to the next question?
I might just add that part of this is clarifying perhaps who we are, right? We are an AR company, a multiplayer AR company. As far as tokens and even NFTs go, there's some potential there. And if we have the potential, we see the potential, we'll use it. But we're gonna, so we may use the blockchain for certain things, right? But we're not a blockchain company, right?
Yeah, we're an AR company. We're an AR startup, which is also using a crypto component, a blockchain component, which definitely has a place in the technology of the future. And we're really, really considering how we can do that. But as you say, we're primarily an AR company, which is it bleeds into the next question by Snake Doctor, who said, karma points. Can you exchange karma points on the test net to the real karma on the main net? Again, this is the same answer that Jason just gave you. The karma score is not going to be on the blockchain for now. We are an AR company, so we're not interested in building up a model around play to earn or move to earn, etc. Another very similar question by Joker: can we merge the Matterless product with move to earn? Jason, maybe you want to take this one.
So if you've seen what's happening with a lot of these play to earn games like Axie, they're it's not a sustainable model, right? So on that front, we're pretty sure we're never going to do play to earn as a general concept, right? From our opinion, it's not a sustainable model, and we don't think it's a particularly a good target to aim for. As far as the other half of the question about move to earn, which is movement-based functionality, so it's kind of a sort of different question, which is, so move to earn is you get gameplay benefits from moving around, from walking around or traveling, right? Very much in the Pokemon Go style of thing. That is a really interesting question, but the general answer is no. And this is really just so our focus right now is on the intersubjectivity of a session of AR with somebody else, right? It doesn't actually matter where in the world you are for that to happen, right? It just matters that you're with your friends and you're playing together. We'll probably eventually add location-based features. Almost certainly we will. But it's not the main play space. It's an add-on feature, right?
Yeah. It's not where you are, it's who you're with. And actually, if you really deeply think about what are some of the best experience that we have in our lives as people, with our friends, with our family, with our lovers, partners, with our coworkers. It's the experiences that we share. It's this shared experience of what reality is. It's telling a joke that everybody laughs at. It's seeing the same thing in the same place. For instance, some of the AR experiences that I've seen so far, some of them are pretty cool. And you see a flower, a beautiful flower growing from the ground, and then you're like, "Hey, check this out!" And you need to give it to a friend. And as you give your phone to a friend, and it's not in your hand anymore, you realize the flower is not really there. You just broke intersubjectivity. So being able to share something in AR to another device instantly, in my humble opinion, is a incredibly important moment in the way that people think and communicate with each other. Because we are actually creating a magical experience. We are putting something there that hasn't been there before, and then it persists. So this is the governing principle of how we're making things. And this is the main game design principle as well. All right. So next question by Tracy. When Hovercar, can we raise them? For all of you, all of those hawk-eyed people who have seen our latest video for the 1-year anniversary, we had a little teaser at the end. We had a tiny hovercar which had a rectangle that you can use, a little pyramid that you can see, which is like a crosshair where you can move the car. And that's actually a project that we're very, very excited about, something we're working on currently. It started off as the idea of having RC cars, remote controlled cars. This reminds me of a game. This RC cars reminds me of a game that I played when I was a teenager. Do you remember, Jason, where you could like race little RC cars around and they would tumble? No?
I don't remember what game you played as a teenager.
Touche. All right. So anyway, like we thought about doing race cars, RC cars, and we ended up going with hover cars. We gave them a little bit of a futurist feel. We wanted to try something different, cars which are like hovering in the air, slightly above the ground. And by using the same principle of shared AR and instant calibration, basically what we can do is we can have a bunch of people racing their cars together. And again, we didn't set up a racetrack. We didn't set up a checkpoint. We only gave them the opportunity to play with the cars freely. So you can play with it on your desk. You can play with it on the floor. You can play with it in your hotel room. You can run around, see where the car can go, see what kind of surfaces it can climb onto. And it's still very, very early, very nascent, but everybody we talked to, everybody we showed it to is very excited. Like they really like it. There's something pretty magical in the fact that you can have a little car you can race around by yourself or with friends.
Yeah, so I'll add on. It's basically where we were just talking about prototyping. It's our first prototype, right? It's our first non-pets prototype. And did we actually answer the main question of when car? So probably pretty
Shut
soon.
up, Jason. No, please tell them. Yeah.
No, I mean, as far as putting a prototype into our Patreon's hands, I think that's actually quite reasonable, right? It's not going to be a finished product by any means, but that's the perk of being a Patreon is you get to play with this stuff that's early in development and give feedback on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give a date. I'm not that crazy, but sooner rather than later, I would actually suggest, right? Yeah, I think it would be a really fun event and just like give everyone a chance to play for a weekend, for like, and then just give your feedback and see how you like it, right? And the other thing I will say about that in particular is, so I think the process of building it has validated the concept already, regardless of even if it's fun or not, because the pets, it's such a different genre. It's such a different type of experience. It's kind of like a real time, almost like an action game, like right, and that teaches
Yeah, like
uh
an arcade,
it,
like one of those arcades,
yeah. Well,
where
what
you
it
have a race
does,
car
right?
or a car.
Yeah, what it does is like this is it's a totally different type of game or type of experience, I should say, right? And that teaches us so much more about multiplayer AR, right? Like, and how do we keep these things synchronized, right? And what happens when the calibration is off, and how do we adjust for all these different things, right? And that so if nothing else, the learnings from building this prototype have already sort of it's already like worth it, right? Just from that angle. And then as a bonus, we're gonna have something fun that people can play with, and maybe we put it on the App Store. And
Yeah, concretely, we have a bunch of concept art for different kinds of cars. So the cars that you saw will have many different shapes. And just to go into a little bit of detail, we have been implementing sounds for the cars since yesterday, I think. So there was an internal build that will come out in a couple of days where we're also going to have sound with the cars, which is going to be super fun. And also, I want to congratulate Jason on being so vague about the timeline that you definitely have a career in politics if you decide to switch gears. Yeah.